thus concludes the Gospel of John, and I've had this statue here for quite some time, compelling myself, first of all, but all of us, to be unified at the foot of the cross. It's a dangerous place to be near Jesus. All of John's Gospel, his theme is the love of God and the love that we have of each other. It's a powerful gospel. Last night, a glorious ordination was held at St. Maria Goretti Parish. It was the vigil of my own 35th anniversary, which that's today. And so I had a lot of sentimental feelings. I got a lot of those going on these days, especially as my time here is growing shorter. But St. Maria Goretti was the parish my parents started in 1960 with Father Wilfred Schuster and all the families there. And we grew up. As I got to the ordination, I actually parked in the nuns, the sisters' driveway, because they invited me to do that, which is right across the street from the church. Just thinking about those glorious days, I had been going for a couple of years, I think it had been, to the sisters to have Mass with them because Sister Jacqueline Tierney, who was my grade school principal, was homebound. And so I would go there and offer Mass once a week at their house, and I love them dearly. We always have a cute little thing. We'd come to, I love you more, and that kind of stuff. But anyways, so lots of sentimental feelings about that. But I came out to my car, and driving down the street, I actually drove down where I could pass my house that I grew up in. And I got about halfway there, probably about 3 blocks from the church, and I noticed something's on my windshield. And so I had to pull over and take it off. And Sister Jacqueline Tierney's sister, Fran, had put on they had saved this. It was the worship aid for my ordination, and also the worship aid for my first Mass. And so it was really special. I'm glad I didn't wreck it by driving with it on my windshield. But I was especially moved. I remember my worship aid, and I kind of did a lot of the design for it. I wanted it to be very special. And on the cover of that worship aid are the words, "Simply Love." That's it. And then you open up the cover, and it's the quotation from Thomas Merton, who said, "To say that I am made in the image of God is to say that love is the reason for my existence, for God is love." I hope and pray that my 35 years, which have been glorious, have been about that message, that that's what we are. We are love. God is love, and we are his children, so that makes us love. And so we are behaving as we should whenever we love. And love really, ultimately, is more than just words, but it's a life choice. And it simply means to put everybody else ahead of yourself, and to actually care when someone comes into your presence, and so that you have enough care that you want to lift them up in that moment. That's been the message I've given in many different ways during my 35 years of being a priest. But I believe it's the message that John wanted to spread, and the message that I know Jesus wanted to give us. Again, we're living in challenging times, and it would be easy for us to throw in the towel, to give up. But here on the vigil of Pentecost, we're called to lift the world up, to live first in that high life. Now I'm thinking of Archbishop Fulton Sheen, who called us to live on the 3rd floor, to live the high life. And again, what does that mean? Well, it means understanding these kinds of things and living them with conviction and dedication in our lives, to love every second, every moment of our lives. Again, that selfless, urgency to lift people up. This is the cure. This is the vaccine for the pandemic of selfishness and evil that seems to have taken control in our world and even in our church. So on my 35th anniversary, which by the way too, I got many of you heard me say this many times before, I got my one-day call on my 23rd birthday, and that was June 24th, 1981. I wouldn't connect the dots until decades later that was actually the day that Our Lady first started appearing in Medjugorje. And I have a great love for my mom, my Blessed Mother, and I pray you do too. She gently leads us to the chest of Jesus, right? The place where John laid his head at the Last Supper, and wants us to live and dwell there always. Simply love. Please stand. Raising our voices with trust in our Heavenly